Good evening, everybody. This is another attempt at an excerpt in the Model Cars and Coffee series that I've been tuning in with. Again, I haven't had time to start any new builds, so I'm just featuring my existing ones, along with little details I've added since they were reviewed, or perhaps in the current state that they were reviewed. So each one that I've been showing is has their own individual review. But what inspired them? So when I was a kid, like many other kids my age, we all tuned into chips. And, the 78 Dodge Monacos and the Plymouth Furies that were used as cop cars back then. They were cool looking cars. They were tough looking cars. And also, family members I knew had the actual cars like this, but of course they weren't the police packages. So for my version, this is the MPC. So this is the MPC CHP Dodge Monaco. And in kit form, out of the box, it doesn't have the spotlights, and it has the improper mirrors. So these spotlights are from the Supernatural Impala kit, and then the mirrors are from the Revell Dodge Dart, Revell 68 Dodge Dart. And then I didn't really like the engine details on the kit provided motor, so I used the 440 from the Revell Dodge Dart kit, the Hemi Dart kit. So I had this spare engine and all the parts, so I put it to use in here. Because again, the kit provided engine and transmission combination. I didn't like the way the engine looked, for one. And plus it had a manual transmission. We all know these cars didn't come with manual transmissions. The police versions didn't. For the most part, anyway. So I was aiming for a little bit more accuracy in that regard. So I went with the so it's basically got a 68 440 power plant. So this would be what you would call, I guess, a modified police package. You can run a storyline and say, well, the basic 440 wasn't fast enough, even though these cars were known in stock police configuration to reach speeds of 140 plus miles an hour. So, but anyways, that's why I used that 440. It's for the automatic, and I thought, oh, how cool would it be to have like a kind of a hot rod engine in my police version. But everything else is pretty much kit provided, like the interior parts and so forth. And again, these are Tamiya rattle can paints. The black went on quite well on here, but I did have to polish some of it out. And I used Crest tooth polish to polish it out, and then I used the Tamiya wax to clean it all up. And then normally I'll paint like the silver trim freehand, which I like doing, but there was barely any there, so I had to mask it off using Tamiya masking tape. Excuse me. And then originally out of whip antenna made out of a guitar string, but it wouldn't fit in my plastic display case, so I made a whip antenna just by stretching some styrene sprue. So in a nutshell, the mirrors, the spotlights, and the engine and transmission combination are from the Revell, or from other kits. Engine transmission from the Revell Dodge Dart, mirrors from the Revell Dodge Dart, and spotlights from the Supernatural Impala. These are all, this is what I'll call my 70s series. So, and then here we have the 79 Nova, another vehicle that was quite popular back in the day. My brother had a 76 Nova or a 77 Nova, and my dad had a 74 Nova, and my brother later on got a 78 Pontiac. I think it was a Ventura, yeah. And it was like this, and it was red. And it had similar mags on it that he picked up on sale. And again, so these wheels and tires are from the AMT 65 Mustang kit. They're an option in that kit. And originally I was just going to leave this blue, but a coworker saw the police version. I showed him online, and he said it looks cool as a police version. So after it was finished, I put all the police decals on, and I had to use tweezers to get the radio in there, because again, it was all complete at that point. But yeah, I had to use the tweezers to get that radio in there. And then originally I was just going to leave the interior pure white with a black dash, which was pretty standard back in those days. But because this was molded in black, I had a heck of a time with that white Tamiya paint being able to stick without black showing. And the black just kept bleeding through. So I just came up with that idea, and I just hand painted those seats in that color. Kind of looks a little busy, but it works. You know, it can be said that's the color of the police officer's uniform. And yeah, I just like to experiment again. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had dinner, so. And then this engine and transmission are from the AMT 1970 Camaro. So it's a 350 LT1 from that kit. Again, I didn't like the 350 that was provided in this kit. It just looked too big and too toy-like. So I used the 350 from the AMT Z28 kit. And those headers are from the Revell 1969 Nova, as is the dual snorkel air cleaner. So the engine, again, engine transmission combination, headers and wheels and tires aren't box stock, they were kit bashed. So how cool would that be, having a police pursuit vehicle of this generation with a 1970 style 350 LT1. Kind of makes for a cool storyline. And then the 74 Roadrunner. Let's move these around here a little bit. Try and keep the theme going. So these cars, when I was younger, I hardly saw a Roadrunner version. Most of the people that I knew, relatives and so forth, had the Plymouth Satellite or the Satellite Sebring, which was a little bit more upscale in terms of trim. And I always thought they were a nice looking car. They weren't the most popular. They weren't, you know, a big head turner, but I always thought they were kind of cool. And so with this one, with this kit, it's the MPC kit, and the tires I got from the AMT Monza kit, radial tire, with the radial stamping on them. They're all the same tires in these kits, but they just stamp them out different, or the tampos are different. So these are tampoed as Goodyear Rallies. And so originally I was gonna go with the red laser stripes that are included in the kit, but no matter what happened with those stripes, they just kept disintegrating. I tried every temperature of water. I tried adding a little soap. They just would not stay together. They'd crumble. So I went and bought another kit, exact same kit, just to see if the decals would work, because I was dead set on having it yellow with red laser stripes, and I was going to detail out the interior to match, you know, give it that 70s Mopar vibe where they used a lot of different colors, and those cars used to pop. So that's what I was aiming for originally, but of course that didn't work out. So I raised the back end, just painted the interior black, and then it's remained that way for a long time. And then these kits don't have the rear side window, and which is a flaw, because all of these cars had those rear side windows. They didn't roll down, they were just there. They were a stationary window. So I made them out of one of the clear covers on one of my M2 diecasts that I had opened up. So I cut those pieces up and then made those windows, and then just detail painted with silver. Again, nothing I do is high tech. I'm a very basic builder. I use paint brushes and detail paint. These are all rattle can painted. Tamiya paint works amazingly well if you're on a budget like I am, or if you don't have a place to work, which I don't. So all these are painted outside as well, like all my other builds that I featured. And then the spoiler is from the AMT 71 Duster kit, as are the chrome exhaust tips. And so, because I couldn't get the decals to work on this thing, I had to totally improvise. So these black laser stripes were in the AMT Monza kit. So I just cut them to fit. And then these on the back are from the MPC Dodge Demon. They're the hood laser stripes. So I just improvised and experimented with this basically. And because I had two kits, each individual kit had an air cleaner decal, the red air cleaner decal. And so now, because I had two kits, I had two of those decals. So to kind of break up the yellow, which was quite overpowering to be honest, I used those air cleaner decals and then a little Roadrunner decal in the center, just to kind of give it a little bit more, that's the thing focus is, you know, just to kind of give it a little different look. And then that top laser stripe, of course, didn't fall apart, and it's box stock. And then the number decals are from the AMT Mercury Marauder kit. So 74 to go with the year of the car, 74. So yeah, this was just basically totally experimental in relation to being a model build. I just kept tinkering with it. And then those red stripe decals on the trunk are from the AMT 65 Mustang kit. Again, I cut them to fit and then put them on there just to add a little bit more red, because I had the red around the Roadrunner logos on the side of the car. And then the traction bars are from the MPC Nova kit. They're from that kit right there. And I had them, so I painted them and stuck them on there just to kind of break it up. Give it a little bit more of a performance look. And then again, pretty basic kit. This kit went together really well, like very easily. It's a very easy build. But I did have to do a little bit of work on the front to make things line up. I had to use super glue to glue the frame down to the front, just so it wouldn't bounce around and it would actually sit nice and level. And then I had to drill some holes in the back, because otherwise the tires and wheels are too far back, using the casting provided holes. But yeah, very basic. And then this hood is always tricky to get off. There we go. Yeah, and that's all box stock. I just went with the kit provided engine. The same kit provided engine that was in this, but for the cop car, I didn't want the manual transmission, so that's why I used the Revell 440 in that police car. But yeah, I like it. It's different. It kind of reminds me of like a southern good old boy car. Something you'd drive on the weekends or run moonshine in, or just street race. That's what comes to mind with it, because it was totally an exercise and experimentation. Because those decals wouldn't work, so I just kept looking at it, and I was like, this thing's too yellow. So I broke it up and I painted. I had the second hood from the other kit that I bought, so painted that black using Tamiya rattle cans, and then I painted the snorkels red to kind of tie in with the red there, and then just a little red subtle dot on the center caps, just kind of tie it together. And then got my AMT Monza kit. This kit was a bit of a challenge. Very simple kit, but the thing just wouldn't go together. I believe it's an upgraded kit, upgraded from an older casting, because all the interior parts are separate, like the door, it has door cards and so forth. But there are no mounting points for the seats, none. So you have to eyeball all that up. And yeah, and I originally this was all just pure blue as well. And again, I got tired of looking at it, so the bug bit, and I started the model bug bit, and then I started tinkering with it, different looks. So these wheels and tires are from the Supernatural Impala kit by AMT, and then the stripes are from the Revell Nova, and I just basically cut them to fit. And originally I was just going to leave it like that, and then I added the top stripes, which are also from the Revell Nova kit. And then that stripe, just the little laser stripe there, was kit provided. And I had to cut the tip off of another stripe just to even it out, so it would that little tiny decal would line up with the hood, just to keep it clean looking. And the Coca-Cola decals were in the 69 El Camino kit. I have the Coca-Cola kit, and I have no intention of building an El Camino as a Coca-Cola kit. And my brother had a car in this color. My sister had a burgundy one, and I rode in both of them, and I actually drove this one when my brother had one, and his had a little 350 in it. It was a pretty neat little car to drive. Front end would just quiver and shake because that 350 in such a small car. And so that's what I done with this. So I decided to use those Coca-Cola decals and build myself a Coca-Cola Monza, which was my late brother's favorite drink. So kind of tied together in terms of it being a nostalgia piece. And yeah, so these wheels and tires are from the Supernatural AMT Impala kit. Coca-Cola decals from the AMT 69 Coca-Cola Impala kit, Coca-Cola El Camino kit. And then the stripes, these blue and black, dark blue stripes, are from the Revell Nova kit. And the side pipes are from the MPC Turtle Wax Dodge kit. And the mirrors, side mirrors, are from the AMT 70 Z28 kit. This had horrible mirrors that were kit provided. They were too big, too bulky, and yeah, they did not look right at all. So I took those mirrors from that kit. And with the engine, I went with I retained the stock engine block that was in this kit, along with all the manifolds and stuff and exhaust manifolds. But the heads looked too long, and I didn't like that look. So I took the heads and the valve covers on here from the Revell Nova kit, and then the air cleaner is from, I believe it's from, on the Nova, I think I took it from the Z28 kit. I can't remember if this was the dual snorkel air cleaner from the Revell Nova or the AMT 70 Z28. In any event, that's what I did. And then the master cylinder brake booster, I can't even remember where I got that, because this kit didn't have one. Oh, actually, yeah, that was from the AMT Z28 kit, I believe. And then just little decals that I had in my box of decals. I just added those just to kind of give it a little bit more realism. Oh. Yeah, so this is my 1970s contingent of model builds. AMT Monza, MPC Nova police car. Let's move this a bit, just so I get a better look at these. And then my MPC CHP Dodge Monaco, and then my MPC 74 Roadrunner. So each one of these kits had a degree of kit bashing involved, some a little bit more than others. Back when I was building models, back in the early days, and when I quit in the 90s and started during the pandemic. So back when I was building them before, I was never bought kits like these. I was into like all the muscle cars and stuff. But you know, now that I'm older, I like the nostalgia factor that comes with building these more pedestrian style vehicles that I remember. I've driven a car like that, driven a car like that, rode in a car like that, and rode in a car like that. So, not as nice as these, but cool nostalgia factor anyways. So anyways, thanks everybody for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. My new subscribers, thank you again. And hopefully I'll be able to get a few new model builds up soon. At least one before the snow flies. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.